Hello and welcome everybody, this is Aprilian. Welcome to my second video. Now just some really quick tips about creating and setting up your player as a center. First of all, your play types, pick and roll rollman, post up low and post up high are your primary play types. Pick and roll rollman is when you set the screen and then move towards the basket. Post up high, post up low are, well, how you shoot from the post, of course. I don't really recommend isolation or pick and roll ball handler because in these plays you're supposed to dribble the ball, and especially if you are a pick and roll ball handler, then that means that your opposing center will be picked from you, and a smaller and more agile player will switch to you, and they will get an even higher chance of stealing the ball from you, and your ball handling will be really bad. So I don't really recommend it. So I will switch to mid-range when I increase that stat, and also when I can buy Deadeye, because it helps a lot. On my small forward on the console, I really liked it, even level 1 Deadeye, but I'll get back to the signature skills later. Body and head, height, the taller you are, the easier it is for you to block and to get rebounds, but I didn't want to make a giant, so this one is about 7 feet. And weight doesn't really mean a lot. I believe that it helps a bit with backing down in post when you're dribbling the ball and you try to sort of get closer to the basket, and also I think that it helps a bit with moving around, basically, because you will bump into other people a lot as a center, so anything that helps you move is an advantage. Yeah, for the signatures, real quick, if you use post moves and you shoot inside, then these don't really matter, and you can change them later anyway. I actually got these from playing blacktop with some players, and when I found someone whose shooting form and shot base were good for me, they worked for me, then I basically selected them in Create Legend and copied their shooting form. These are actually from Jason Richardson, and some shots are from Michael Jordan. The free throw, I already bought Kevin Garnett's free throw. I believe that the animation is quite fluid. You can see the release point, but feel free to buy anything. These cost really almost nothing, so this one costs about 15 BC or SP on the PC, so feel free to experiment. Dribble Pull Ups, again some animations which look fluid. I don't really shoot off dribble, so I don't really use these. Fade, again Michael Jordan's really smooth animation, so I chose this because of the animation, not because of Michael Jordan. Now for the other post shots, of course the post hook is a bit of a layup, so it works similar to a layup. You don't get the shot release, so again select whatever animation you like, but the other ones are, of course, the other ones require shot release. They are actually jump shots, they are a bit harder to pull off, so again experiment with it and select whatever works for you. Dribble moves, like I said, I don't really plan to dribble the ball that much, just as little as possible, so these ones I selected them because they look smooth and fast, nothing fancy. As for the dunk packages, as you can see, I selected all under basket big man packages, some basic two-handers as well. I like two-handed dunks, but there is of course a lot of room to buy other ones as well. Now, many people ask in the forums what go to dunk package means. Go to dunk package basically means that when you're standing somewhere in a certain spot under the basket or wherever on the court, and you go up for a dunk, and you have dunk packages that multiple dunk packages that could trigger from that spot. Then, so for example, if you're standing under the basket and you could use this one or this one or this one, because they are all under basket dunk packages, but you have one of them selected as a go-to dunk package, then you will most probably do that dunk. So if you have green pulls as a go-to dunk package, then most probably you will do green pulls instead of these ones. Now, as you can see, these get the job done, so you don't really need to buy anything else if you are satisfied with the basic animations. As you can see, they have reverse slams and frontal slams and everything, so you are basically set up to play a center. I selected these other ones. As you can see, these are from running, so in the rare case where I actually dunk from running and not from standing under the basket, just in case, select some of these as well. And now let's get back to where we left off in the last video. As you remember, I was selected as player of the game. Then we had the draft coming up. So let's see how that went. Oh, strangely, it doesn't show that many dunks, by the way, but as you can see, I did quite right.
With the 5th pick in the 2012
and then,
NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select the big man from Hungary.
I got selected by the Sacramento Kings. Now they of course have DeMarcus Cousins, so I don't know how it's gonna work out, but let's see. I will let you enjoy the highlights of my first game. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Yeah, baby, this is where it all starts. Let's get out there and ball.
And boy, you can just hear the excitement. What a moment indeed. And welcome everyone to another presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. Along with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. And the Bulls start out with the ball. Thunder steps out onto the floor, and he's got to be excited. His very first taste of playing time in an NBA game.
He's one of the players who got a ton of attention leading up to the draft, and rightfully so. He's an amazing talent.
Yeah, you know, Steve, he was high on every team's wish list. You knew somebody was going to make him a first-round draft choice, and this is it, his chance to show what he's capable of.
Here's Boozer, gets the bucket, and the Bulls lead by 3. The second best record at home in the East for the Bulls, Steve. When you have the defensive presence they have in front, Clark, a friendly crowd, you know, that goes right along with it. Boy, that can lock up an opposing team.
The other thing that helps you have a good home record is taking care of the ball, and they did that extremely well at home, Kevin. Second best turnover rate in the league in that category. So really just a very sound team. Nothing flashy, but very solid.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Well, Tom Thibodeau gave me a few minutes to catch up with him. He said a big factor in this game will be how well they limit penetration by Tyreke Evans. He said he's so unique in that he's so big and so strong and also tremendously slippery and elusive off the bounce. But we've really got to cut off his right hand and then dare him to shoot over the top.
Nothing like NBA action, so come out to a Kings game and enjoy the show. Thunder is ready to give his best, so get your tickets now. So come out and welcome our sensational new rookie.
And back to the action again. Everyone excited to be playing for a fresh new year. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Bulls?
Well, the thing they tried to establish right away was the presence down low. You look at the points in the paint. I think that's been the difference.
Yeah, and I like the fact, Steve, that they're not settling for the outside shots. I mean, go in there and get what you want. Keep attacking the rim.
Tang's got 5 now.
That's a defensive let-up right there. I mean, they've got to close down on him quicker when he's in three-point range.
And Thornton kicks to Fredette. He's covered by Rose. Here's Thunder. The feed to Evans. And the shot is good. Evans has got his 3rd basket of the night. Thomas against Heinrich. Here's Thunder. That's in there. Thomas with the assist. Thunder's got 4 points this quarter. Look at the end of the year rankings for opponents' points in the paint. As Steve was just talking about, Sacramento and the Charlotte Bobcats, Clark, finished as the bottom 2 by some margin.
Yeah, and it's strange in that the Kings have some size inside, but they don't play very big, Kevin. And that's a mindset and an attitude that has to change for them.
Offensively, just hammering away in the paint.
And that's 10 straight points inside, too.
Screen by Boozer. Here's Bellinelli. Blocked. They retain possession. Outside Butler. Second chance shot. Bellinelli gets the bucket. Bellinelli's got his first points of the game. Luol Deng is checked in for Jimmy Butler. And the Kings players seem to be responding well to Coach Keith Smart. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
Yeah, they played hard for him. You know, I think he came in at the right time. The team was in disarray and really were not happy with the previous coach. So he kind of came in at a time where they were looking for somebody to lead them. And I thought his special pet project was DeMarcus Cousins, really an important part of this team's future. And Smart did a nice job of communicating well with Cousins.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Guys, it's never been easy for a player to transition from one team to another, but in the case of Rip Hamilton here in Chicago, it's been relatively simple. He says, this team is awesome. Everyone loves each other and holds each other accountable. High praise from someone who has been part of an NBA title team, Kevin.
Well, Doris, that camaraderie is such a key part of winning basketball.
An open lane right there. Pretty much saw the daylight he wanted and took advantage.
Yeah, great opportunity, and he seized it without much hesitation.
Yeah, a little too easy, if you ask me. The defense really needs to tighten things up here.
Dang up top. Over Salmons. A double clutch. No good from Gibson.
Yeah, trying to put a little mustard on the hot dog here. That was just convert the shot. Come on.
Here's Thornton. Here's Thunder. Goes back up. And he cruises to the hoop for the layup. Thunder's got 12 in the game. Timeout called by the Kings.
Every conference has one team that is a bit of a weak sister, if you will. And last year for interconference play, that team was the Sacramento Kings. They had a tough time against the East Eagles.
Joakim Noah, he's checked in for Chicago. And that concludes the first half. Bulls lead by 12.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
The spookiest day of the year, Halloween. It's really not that scary. Not during the 2K Sports halftime report, anyway. Chicago with the lead against Sacramento. Their work on the offensive boards, a big factor. Great effort out there. Derrick Rose is having himself a big-time game. Seems like everything's falling for him. Not sure if he even knows how to miss. And slugging it out so far, the Sacramento Kings. They've gone to their bench for the spark, and it's fired. Big scoring off the pine. Thunder has been on a roll in the first half. Shooting nearly 70% so far, a gaudy shooting percentage, the envy of everybody playing tonight. And that's all we have for you here in the studio. Now let's send it on back to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke for the second half of play.
That jump shot's like a layup for him when the defense backs off like that.
Here's Thunder. Robinson on him. Here's Thunder. Reverses. And the running layup is good. Thunder's got 14. And for Thomas Robinson, the Jayhawk, he certainly has all the physical tools, but You also like the work ethic and all those different intangibles, Clark, that he's shown.
Yeah, exactly, Kevin. Anytime you see dramatic improvement from one season to the next, which was the case with Robinson, you really appreciate what kind of work ethic a kid has to be able to do that. He's really made progress offensively, and I think he's going to continue to get better.
Brooks kicks to Evans. And the pass to Thornton. The three is launched. Noah with the block. And it'll be Sacramento as it goes out of bounds. The Kings retain possession. Kirk Heinrich, he's checked in for Derrick Rose. So it's the Kings taking the win in this one. And Clark, you know, it was quite a nail-biter.
Yeah, it was tight. Their guys were able to come up with big plays down the stretch, and that's the difference.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of NBA basketball on 2K Sports. For Clark, Stephen Doris, and the rest of the crew, Kevin Harlan.